All right, welcome back to part two. So in this strategy video, we're going to be exploring a little more advanced strategies where we're going to be discussing bridges, dexes, as well as the niche opportunities, as well as the places where I keep my capital locked, even though those are very far and few in between with the recent debacles of Renzo and others. So without further ado, let's jump in. And before we jump into the strategy, two quick updates. So we have just had the Kubo airdrop an hour ago, and this one has been really good for the people who have actually managed to sell it in time because it was worth about $5 on launch, and now currently it is being traded at around $1, which is less than optimal. But again, this is where the power of information and the power of reacting in real time comes into play, because if you're able to spot these opportunities and react quickly, if you have access to this information in real time, then you are better, much better positioned. It's a huge difference selling something for $500 or selling something for $100. So yeah, this is why we created our Discord. Our private community is really on point when it comes to these things, and we share information in real time. So if you're sometimes looking at these videos and you may be seeing it with 1 or 2 days delay, then this is the best place to actually be up to date with everything, all the news, all the updates. There's also Discord the airdrop tracking application, which helps you keep organized and lets you keep track of all of your airdrop hunting adventures. And even you have weekly notifications that send you reminders that you need to do this task if you do this on a weekly or a monthly basis. And another thing we cannot really ignore is this crazy gummy airdrop from the Crypto Banter team. So one of the guys in our Discord has made like $1,000 across 5 accounts for simply having an old laptop running and collecting these points in the background. It's crazy. So yeah, if you still don't have this running, just find an old machine, or you can put this on a different laptop. And the best thing is you can actually use it on multiple browsers. So you can have one account connected to Chrome, one to Mozilla, one to Edge, and many others if you so choose. So yeah, we don't know if it's going to be as profitable as the season one, but season two is ending in a couple of days, so make sure to get the last pieces of these points as you can. All right, let's start with bridges and dexes. So first things first, that you need to understand that if you're going to farm bridge airdrops, then the only thing that really matters is volume. If you're going to be bridging $10, $20, $30, then it really won't amount to much. But if you're going to be sending a couple $1,000s, then this is definitely, or at least a couple $100s, then this is definitely going to position you much better than lower amounts of volume. Not only because it becomes more capital efficient due to bridge fees, but also you are going to be anti-Sybil in your wallets, which is always a big plus. Of course, if you want to be using the bridges, you have to be interacting with many different smart contracts. So for example, with the Hyperlane example, we have from Celestia, routes from Celestia to, last time we talked about Arbitrum, but you can also bridge to Manta and many different routes that they keep introducing every week. Now let's take a look at the Wormhole ecosystem, because as you know, Wormhole has already had season 1 airdrop, but there's going to be multiple seasons, and I think that a lot of people are forgetting this. So season 2 of Wormhole airdrop is going to be distributing another 5% of the token supply. Now that you can see all of the Wormhole dApps that you can currently explore, but primarily the best and the biggest one that I'm going to be focused on is Mayan, because they're also speculated to have a token and they're part of Wormhole ecosystem. And guys, bridging into Solana or out of Solana using Mayan is just so incredibly smooth. Look at these rates. If you're bridging in $2,000, you're getting literally $0.50 in fees. So you don't charge anything, and the swaps are usually much faster than 20 minutes. And you can also bridge out of Solana for the exact same rates. It is actually incredible. Of course, it is recommended to interact with as many different smart contracts as possible. So, for example, Allbridge is also not so bad. They're charging a little more in fees. They're charging about $2 to $10 in fees, but of course, making 1 or 2 swaps is always recommended. You also have Portal Bridge, which is a bit unique because sometimes you have to actually redeem your tokens on the other side, but it is also not the worst. And of course, you have dexes like Hashflow and Jupiter, which is going to have multiple seasons of airdrop, so it is definitely worthwhile to interact with these ones as well. Now, taking a look at some general purpose bridges, my absolute favorite by a long shot is Jumper, because this one, look at these rates. So if you're sending from maybe a little more exotic chains to even more exotic chains, you're going to get the absolute best rates. So for example, from base to Polygon ZKVM, you're paying like less than $1 in fees. It is actually crazy. This is the best DEX and bridge aggregator that I have seen. And they also have a experience campaign going on. So you have this jumper profile, and here you can track your experience if you have interacted across different months, if you have made different swaps across different blockchains. It is definitely worthwhile. Also, they also have this Merkle NFT that basically levels up as they really gamify this interestingly. Your NFT basically levels up as you use the jumper exchange across different months. Of course, we have many different other ones, such as, for example, Bungie, and this is from the Socket team, and they also have a confirmed token incoming. And this is very, very interesting because you can see that there's many different dApps built by Socket technology. You've probably used some of these. You remember maybe this is the ones from the Optimism quests we did ages ago. Then you have some of these, like for example, Bungie is their flagship project, but Superform, apparently Superform is now a 5-in-1 airdrop. So definitely a worthwhile target. They're slightly less optimal than Jumper when it comes to the actual routes, because sometimes you won't have actually liquidity for the routes that you want to send your funds across, but also very nice aggregator in its own right. Then you have another one, which is the bridge. This one I'm not a huge fan of because they do have a points program. It is solely based on the amount of fees that you spend in your transactions. So if you're spending like $3 in fees, you're getting 300 points. So it's kind of like an ICO, but again, not a bad target if you want to diversify your bridge usage. And then you also have Rango. This one has recently introduced Scroll, which is a big plus. But for example, Rango's competitive advantage is that you can bridge into Bitcoin for a relatively low price. For example, sending USDT from Solana to Bitcoin only costs you less than $10. And considering that sometimes sending funds from a centralized exchange to Bitcoin is like $30, then this is a very nice alternative in a DeFi sense. Then lastly, we also have the OWL2 and Orbiter, but I'm not a huge fan of these because usually these charge a fixed price, like they charge a fixed fee. Usually it's 0.001, so about $3 for Orbiter, or for OWL2 Finance, you pay about 0.0065 ETH. So yeah, these ones are not the best, but if you want to diversify your wallet usage or focus on specific airdrops, maybe you can use one wallet, specifically these two. Hope for the best.
Hey crypto fans, as airdrop hunters and crypto enthusiasts, we are constantly in risk of being scammed from protocols and people that want to drain our wallets and enter into our computers. That is why we partner with proxy sellers for our proxy services, and the great about their services is that you can select many crypto-friendly countries and you can even mix a package of different countries for your proxy services. You can select many of the different proxy options, including your residential proxies. And it's super easy to get it. You just select the country, then you can put the amount of proxies that you want. Let's say that I am farming with 10 wallets. Just click on buy, and here on redeem code you can put a referral CCS15, and you can see how the price downs a 15% for all these proxy services and 10% for residential services. So don't wait anymore, be safe as an airdrop hunter and crypto enthusiast, so you are always in control when you are online. Use our CCS15 refer code, and first link in the description is your link to get your proxies with us and proxy seller.
And lastly, we cannot forget about the layer 0. Of course, their snapshot number 1 has already been taken, but since we have no idea what actually included in the snapshot, then I'm still sending just a couple basic transactions or Stargate or some other layer 0 routes, such as when you're on Jumper, or if you need to refuel, then you can also use the layer 0 route. Not to forget that they also have really nice farms where you can earn between 15 to 25, sometimes even 30% APY on your stablecoins if you're using some exotic chains such as Phantom Base or Metis. Now let's take a look at some of the more locked liquidity provisions. So I'm really not very bullish on these anymore ever since the whales have entered the picture, but the ones that I'm still actually involved in have to do with EtherFi. This is until at least Eigenlayer drops their token. So we're doing with Eigenlayer, Rhea, Mitosis, Ethena Season 2, because I'm very bullish on this project, but honestly, I also kind of forgot to withdraw. So now I'm just collecting sats in Season 2 as well. Let's go. But in all seriousness, EtherFi is one of the best Ethereum Layer 2s for restaking. because liquid restaking tokens you can now stake not only on Ethereum, but also on Arbitrum, Blast, Mode, Linea, and they keep adding new integrations. It's amazing. They also have this liquid staking portfolio where you can actually get some very nice exposure to both Ethena sets, Eigenlayer points, and extra APY on these vaults. But most importantly, if you're going to be using these strategies, then you should take a look into the YT pools on Pendle, because these have proven to be incredibly profitable, which is incredibly degen, let's be honest, but because you have to actually burn through your capital and you're actually getting a huge amount of leverage on your points through all of these protocols. So we don't know if it's going to be as good as the season one or for the last couple months, but it's definitely something to consider. And regarding other capital deployments, there is something to do with Rhea and mitosis. So these ones are actually very unique because Rhea had a very short liquidity generation event. It is only lasting for 2 weeks, so you don't have to lock up your capital for a long time, as well as mitosis, which is very, very exclusive because you have literally like 20 minutes to join these pools. So I'm hoping that because it is actually very, very hard to get in, that there's going to be less dilution and probably bigger airdrop rewards. Of course, Ethena keeps delivering, and this is one of the best projects that I'm most bullish on for fall 2024 with their whole algorithmic stablecoin concept. But the fact that they keep bringing in new integrations, they keep innovating, is something very, very exciting. The last integration with Bybit Official, for example, allows you to use USDE as collateral for trading on their platform, but this is also something that a lot of the DEXs in the DeFi space are also adopting, so many reasons to be bullish for Ethena. Now, a quick look into the perpetual trading DEXs. This is a huge topic, and honestly, this is one of the narratives that I'm most bullish on for 2024 because there's less people farming these kinds of airdrops. There is way less dilution, and it's logical because people don't know how to trade. I don't know how to trade, but I'm still trying my best to build up volume in these kinds of airdrops because, as we have seen with both Drift, with some others, for example, like Zeta Markets is coming just around the corner. Like Drift gave people so many tokens and they're trading at around 60 to 70 cents each at current prices. So it's an easy 4-figure airdrop, which is almost a rarity in these days. So yeah, I'm really bullish on this whole concept of perpetual DEXs, and there's another integration. For example, IntentX is using USDE as collateral. So there are many ways to creatively get a 3-in-1s, 4-in-1s, and many, many multipliers. Of course, another reminder that we have a channel partnership for LogX Pro, and this is a great way to farm both Orderly and LogX airdrop. So if you're a trader and if you're not a trader like me, then you can also just get volume, try not to lose too much money, and maybe if you use some strategies that we're going to be talking about in the future, maybe you can actually even make money trading. So this is actually an exciting arena to be in. All right, almost there. Just Solana, Aptos, and some miscellaneous. So regarding the Solana, I'm really moving away from the Caminos and Margin Fies and Parcels of the world because there's just way too many people farming this and it's very diluted. Of course, Sanctum Wonderland might not be far off, but at least it has this kind of fun gamified event where if you collect these blobs or whatever the hell these amoebas are, if you have at least 0.1 SOL in each of these, you start to generate some of the XP, they level up, and my hope is that whales don't have patience for these kinds of games or nonsense, so maybe they fade this. I don't know, it's just speculation, but yeah, we'll see how it works. And the other thing you can do is you can get some Infinity tokens. This one will actually give you an exposure to potentially Meteora airdrop if you end up LPing these in the Meteor pools. And how it works is it's basically a basket of different liquid staking tokens on Solana network. So it's actually a multi-airdrop qualifier, and a very nice strategy is illustrated here by Cruise Control on Twitter. Now, taking a quick look into the Aptos ecosystem, we can see that there are some opportunities because 49% of the supply is still reserved for airdrop, and nobody's talking about this. Like, out of 1 billion Aptos tokens, there's been only 20 million that has been given on the first airdrop, and now there's so many tokens left to be provided. Now, we don't really know what to do here because honestly, it's very speculative. It's kind of a dark horse in this whole scenario, but some of the biggest dApps on Aptos where I'm still active is Aries Markets, Pontem Liquid Swap, which is probably going to be dropping something interesting soon because they have added the airdrop checker a couple of weeks ago. Then you also have the liquid staking with Amnis, and Tortuga is a much smaller one and probably underfarmed, so this is kind of a YOLO play, but yeah, there's that. Also, remember that volume is always king when it comes to these things. You want to be in the top 10 or at least top 50,000 users on Aptos to have a meaningful chance for a sensible airdrop. And the last couple of the newer ones, a little more speculative ones, starting with Illuvium and Immutable ZK EVM. Santiago has made a great video on this already, but yeah, this is basically the best game in the world that's coming on blockchain, and the Immutable ZK EVM pairs very well with this release. And of course, we have something called Eldorado. They have already said the token is confirmed. It's very, very under the radar. So yeah, basically, if you just want some exposure to this, this is how their wallet works. You can make swaps between many different chains. For example, you have like Arbitrum integrations, Kujira on Cosmos, Tor, Dash, even Solana recently. So many different swaps. But again, the most important thing is that nobody's probably doing this. So if they actually end up delivering, it might be one of the better airdrops. Now, another one is like completely random. So this is a liquid staking protocol on Kujira. And I was like, one day, I want Kujira exposure, but I don't want to spend like $500 or $1,000. So let's just put into a super speculative one that doesn't even have a points program or anything. So if this one cooks, it's going to be amazing. The whole thesis around this one is that it has 500 users. So yeah, that's the whole thesis, like nothing else. More serious project, for example, is Stacking DAO. This is the one for Bitcoin. If you have something, if you want some exposure in the Ethereum Bitcoin layer 2s, then this is definitely the play to go because it actually has a points program and you just need to buy some stacks. You can buy it on any centralized exchange, send it to your Bitcoin wallet and start stacking. Now, another one on Bitcoin is also the Liquidium one. This is very underfarmed, less than around 2,000 users. And basically this lets you liquefy your assets into into basically liquidity. If you want to borrow against your assets, you need to make sure to repay your loan within a specified time frame. Now, another thing that we should probably not fade is the fact that there are some runes. So on the following event of April 20th, you could actually start etching and minting some runes. And as you remember, everybody who had three simple NFTs on Bitcoin, they have been given a runestone, which was about $5,000 in value approximately. So if you want to replicate this success, you should probably consider buying some runes early, getting some exposure to Rune's ecosystem, because maybe in the next cycle when something new shiny comes around, maybe this new shiny thing is going to be airdropped to people who use runes. So this is how you have to think about in these things, in cycles. And the last part of our airdrop farming strategy has to do with SocialFi. So Friendtech has recently launched their token already, but our focus should probably be in the Warpcast and Enjoy.tech ecosystems. And I was really ready to give up on this almost entirely because the airdrop rewards from Warpcast Season 2 were very underwhelming. I received maybe $20. And then just a couple of days ago, we have received something from Spectral Labs. Everybody who has interacted on Warpcast and received at least 10 interactions has gotten about $400 in airdrop value for just being active on Warpcast. So maybe SocialFi Meta is not dead just yet. We also have a cryptocurrency state channel on Warpcast. So if you want to interact and get some exposure to Warpcast, you can do so in our channel. Now, another thing that you need to understand is that Season 3 is currently ongoing, and if you want to take a more active role in the Warpcast ecosystem, you can buy 10k Degen tokens. They're worth around $200 at current prices, just under, and you can actually get some exposure to Season 3 as well. Now, if you're going to be doing that, you can also do that in a more profitable, potentially niche, which is much less farmed. This is the Enjoy.tech, part of the Zora ecosystem, and Zora should also be on your radar, because Zora is basically a layer 2 that is designed specifically for NFTs and creators. They're probably going to launch a token sometime in the future, and getting weekly activity on Zora by simply minting and creating NFTs is definitely recommended. We actually have a Zora NFT mint exchange Discord where we all post our creations, and then we buy each other's NFTs to build volume and basically get exposure to Zora ecosystem that way. We're going to be ramping up our game with the enjoy.tech as well. So we're going to be tipping each other and, of course, sending and qualifying for the multiplied airdrop qualifications. Currently, if you want to participate in the enjoy.tech airdrop, you need to buy 500,000 enjoy tokens, and they're very, very cheap right now. You can get them for less than $100. So this is a great opportunity. And of course, this is usually reserved just for our Discord, but we're going to be opening the gates for everyone who wants to participate. Let me know in the comments below if you want to do so. And that's a wrap for an in-depth guide on the strategy that you can use for the May of 2024. Of course, as we said in the beginning, this is just a framework, a basic guideline, and you have to formulate your own strategy based on your specific circumstances. I'm spending between 60 to 80 hours every week just clicking on the screen like a maniac, because I have seen personally how lucrative this space is, and I know how much money can be made in this space. But again, you need to tailor strategies for your own specific situation. Of course, if you want to chat and enjoy some of these amazing strategies in real time with people who are very good in this space, we have created a Discord where you can do so and really make the most out of this whole arena. And there's, of course, an airdrop tracking application that helps you keep organized. That's everything for today. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Put the bell notification on so you don't miss on important updates. And till next time, have an amazing day.